So one of the Windows rules, as well as the SolidWorks rules, is that we can't have parts assemblies with the same name. If we do, we can't use them in the assembly. It has to resolve the naming. So when I name this, I just called it with a revision 2. The revision 1 was our practice piece, so to speak, or my practice piece, and we can save that as an R2. So I can have as many of these as I want. They can use the same parts. We can mix and match, but when it comes down to the assembly, we can't have that duplicate names. All right, so make sure to save, and I'll close this out. And then for the next assembly, let's just really quickly save an assembly template. So I'm going to close this out for the begin assembly. We're going to switch to millimeters, grams, and seconds. I said for at least the first couple, we'll want to put the origin on. If I edit the document units, I do want to check that real quick. We are in millimeters, inches, could be in 3 decimal places. You know, little things that you might find you want to adjust. And then we're going to do the file save as. And then I'm going to save this. Hopefully I can find it again. my drive to the SolidWorks 22 system and into the templates, and then this will be an assembly MM. Okay, or assembly metric, whatever. Now, same as the part, we don't want to put anything in there because it will try to load that every time we do a new assembly. So it didn't show up, hasn't caught up yet, part metric. Okay, then I have to double check where I put that. Okay, so when it doesn't show up, and I go and I look and I see that I saved it as an SLDASM and not a template, well, we can open up the part. Should be in the recent. So at least that much. We have to do a save as. Go back to the save as type. One minor little detail. Find my assembly template. It jumped over into Program Data SolidWorks all the way in there. And if you're saving them there, that's fine. Go ahead and have location. But if for whatever reason you don't have access or permissions to it, then this is where we're going to the My Documents or to the cloud drive, whatever will work. So once I save it, then we close it, and I'll clean up and take the SLDASM out of the group. Can do new. There's my assembly for millimeter. Could stay with the other one for inch. It would just be a matter of changing the units and then doing another save as to the assembly template and make that work. So, all right, so browse. Do watch that it does not put you back into your system folder. We want to make sure that when we open and when we save, you're going to see it more so if you do it before a save. That I have lost parts in the template folder and wondered what I did. So let's see. So one of these should have my, oh, there we go. The dog bone and the pin parts are going to be my configured parts, so that's fine. And again, we just go in, can see the origin of the part in blue. Not seeing the rotate, but we go origin to origin and allow it to fix. Then when I bring in my next piece, insert component, and it was set to automatically browse, so I'm going to bring in the pin, and with the configurations, this is the difference, is I can come down here to configuration pin long and hit open and place it and select control select, go to concentric. It didn't go the way that I want, so we expand that out and I can flip the mate alignment, and it didn't throw it out into space. Now, interestingly enough, this is also the one that I was looking at the 3D print with. So here I have that radius, so I'm going to have to go edge to face. And then this is where I can use the section views or something along those lines to see what the interferences are. So since I'm here with the pin, I'm going to go ahead and drag another one in. And then I can go concentric and face, and then to coincidence. All right, so starting to think about the 3D print, one side of this can be, well, we're going to bring in the dog bone shape. So, and then I did the what if scenario, and we just did the what if scenario at the crank length. So let's go ahead and bring in the crank configuration. We'll place it. And control select. And I did not get a pop-up, so I'm not sure if I missed or if I moved the mouse too fast. So we'll select again. Go ahead and hit OK. They're a little close together, so left click, drag, move one of them out. Concentric. And if I insert, oh, well, it's the dog bone, so basically I can drag and drop. I don't have to insert another, so control select. And it comes in as the crank again. And for the other end, I'll do the follower. And hopefully that length works. We should be able to double click on it and get the 80. So no, it didn't. Oh, I didn't hit the check mark. So we'll go to follower, check mark, and it adjusts in size. So the face, can rotate around, control select the face, go coincident. Pretty close together is going to make it hard to select, so select, we'll move it, and then select, control select concentric, and once you get into the rhythm, this will go pretty quick. So we'll bring in the next pin, except this time the pin will be the short, so I can access it, and then once it changes, if we stay with that print style, then this is where we're going to have to make the decision on which one of these gets the relief. So it's kind of looking like the coupler at this point, but I'll have to go through and double check my logic. All right, so if I go coincident, and then since it moved away too fast, I'm not getting the little pop-up box, so I must be moving away from it quicker, but I can flip the mate alignment, and then we'll select and control select concentric. I want another one of those, so select, control drag. Know that there's a lot going on and this is moving pretty quick. So all right, so that's in the orientation, select, control select, and concentric. All right, so we've got our lengths and the geometry. All right, and then one more of the dog bones so that I can switch it to the coupler and hit OK. Well, was not meaning for it to be that one. So let's go back to the follower, check, make sure that I'm on that part, and we'll go coupler, accept. And then this is the stage where if I'm going to put that that chamfer on, I could do that before by editing the part in context. Oh, and we do need to save the assembly. We'll let everything rebuild. So this is my, and we're up to revision 3, or version 3, or whatever we want to call it. And I guess I should make sure that I didn't, if I do a recent, okay, so that did get into the to the assignment. It did not put it into the template. All right, so we're editing in context. When I select the boss, the one's highlighting, and can't really move it. So if I go with the chamfer, we put a 2mm, I believe. So we'll see what adding 1mm, and can't really see that side, but I can get to it from there. And we'll go ahead and accept. All right, so that edge, rotate around to that face, coincident. That cylindrical face to that cylindrical face will go concentric. And then last, we'll go to concentric. All right, so my intent here is to 3D print this and be able to see these move together. So that'll be one of the optional videos after we finish the drawing, is to go through and review those released. But if we wanted to look at the section view real quick, we could go in and pick the top. Yeah, top wouldn't be too bad, but I think the right makes a little more sense. So looking at that that clearance, and so the radius prints that way, and I don't really want the exact matching radius. So I can have that visualization tool, and that one at the 1mm on the coupler, either that or I did it the wrong way. I'll have to go back. I might have automatically picked the fillet. So we can, the section view, it will stay in place since I have a fillet there. And oh, I didn't make the chamfer big enough. So I ended up putting in the 1mm. So if we come back over here, double click on chamfer 2, should see that dimension on one of these. And if I rotate over just a little bit, find the one, I can drag it out. So 2mm, I was thinking radial. All right, so we can check for that interference. And when it updates, see the clearance. It's not a lot of room for it to rotate on, but we're also going to have to look at it from the standpoint of, is this going to be the press, and these are going to be the clearance, all of that fun stuff. So if I hit the section view again, go to Control 7 for the isometric. I'll look at the, go to the view, turn off the view origins. Then we have the shape. And then I want to do kind of the same thing with the angle so that we're consistent anyway, 45 degrees. Maybe we'll make that one 60 so there is a definite difference between the two. All right, make sure to save it. And now if for some reason I needed to swap any of these geometries. So let's see, this one was the what if scenario. Oh, and I didn't hit the check mark again. So check mark, it's kind of hard when it's up there. So since that geometry went away, the last mate doesn't apply. I'd have to change it to this outside face. But if I suppress that as a feature, I can see that that geometry will work. And again, that's just a manufacturing preference of being able to hold on to it and make it a little more efficient. All right, so I can go back and forth between those, do the what if scenarios. Nothing is really permanent here, so we can make those adjustments as we decide the final parts in this assembly.